Hello there, and welcome to the Poppycock Podcast, where the topics don't matter, and I'm still not an expert. I, of course, am your host, Frames Janko, joined today by my wife, Killy Lawlins. Are we still going with the Lily Collins thing?
Mm-hmm.
Who, by the way, I found out yesterday is the real-life daughter of legendary Disney Pixar musician Phil Collins, and the song You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan is actually him singing about his broken relationship with his daughter. So if the movie didn't make you cry yet, it will now. I also know that normally we do fun facts for these things, and I forgot to for a couple of these. So I'm going to throw in two more fun facts before we dive in. One, Mark Wahlberg was originally going to play Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious franchise, but had to drop out at the last second, leading to the only person who should ever play him. However, it is weird that of all the people that are friends with Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, that he hasn't been in a movie yet. We got John Cena first. And this is more of a personal fact, but after watching the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy as a child, when Han has to cut open that tauntaun to stuff Luke in there, because of that, at a very young age, like prior to like kindergarten, I thought that all humans, if you cut them, there was blood, and then it was what I considered to look like the inside of a McDonald's Hush Puppy hash brown, and I thought that's just what our insides were because of that movie. I thought everyone, like every dog and human, just had like smelly hash brown texture inside of them. So that's next time you watch that movie.
Yeah, I promise you that's not what's inside.
Well, I know. I've seen people run over by things. I know what the inside of people looks like. I've seen it become their outsides.
Yeah, me
So,
too. Perks of working at a hospital.
perks
Shout
of working
out
in
to,
the military.
healthcare workers right now. I know it's tough because I am one of them.
Shout out to military people right now, because they have to do the same crappy stuff, but now they're wearing masks in the desert, and I don't envy them.
Yeah, I don't either.
Also, I got to choose what color socks I wore today, which they didn't get to. Anyway, into the topic at hand. There are a lot of blockbusters that have come and gone in the days, and during lockdown, we're being denied a lot of movies that should have already come out. Christopher Nolan's Tenet, Wonder Woman 1984. There are tons more. Those are just the first two that come to mind. So, I thought we should look back at a classic, and a movie that is so insane that it could only have come out when it did, and that is Face Off. Spelled face/off. It's not face off, it's face off. Now, the movie stars John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Now, honey, I know you know who Nicolas Cage is, but I'm pretty sure you don't know who John Travolta is. So I have photos here. That's, of course, Nicolas Cage making a very famous face from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell, he's a bit of a ham. And that's John Travolta. You ever see Grease?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, I figured that'd be the touchstone for you. I'm kind of upset that I was right. So, just before I even tell you, what do you think the movie Face Off is about? If you can get any of it right, I'll be very impressed.
Honestly, based on just those two characters.
Because it was made in 1997, so you were a year old when this thing came out, I believe.
Based on just like the movie cover, I'm going to say it's some sort of like Fast and Furious style, like Face Off, except without the cars, where one person's trying to outdo the other. I don't know what the reason is.
They are competing. So there's a character named Sean Archer, and that's John Travolta. And he is, I believe, an FBI agent, and he is hunting down Troy Caster, Nicolas Cage, who is a known terrorist with the stylings of a Fast and Furious character.
Yeah, so it's basically Fast and Furious.
No, it is not.
Cars.
No. Here's what happens. So back in the day, Nicolas Cage killed John Travolta's son.
Oh, dang.
So now it's personal.
Don't do that voice ever again.
I'm going to. It's sexy and you like it.
No, it's not.
So-
You'll never get laid from the rest of your life.
So they're hunting each other down, obviously because he's a criminal, but also because, like, you killed his kid. Also, throughout the movie, John Travolta does this weird thing where he'll take his fingers to his loved ones and he'll do this. I have to describe it while showing it. He just, like,
brushes down the front of their face.
brushes his fingers down your face.
Why is he caressing their face? That's weird.
I think it's because
me.
it's like, I see you, I don't know.
That's how blind people they. I mean, I get it if blind
before
people
this
feel
movie,
their face, but
both these characters have full sight. before the movie, Nicolas Cage and John Travolta locked themselves in a cabin in the woods together to figure out both of these characters. So that's something they both decided should be what they do, where they just walk up and like he sees like his son, he's like, "Oh, son," and he just face. He sees his wife, face. His edgy daughter, face.
Okay, if I was the edgy daughter and you smeared my eyeliner or my lipstick, I'd punch you in the face.
Well, you're my wife, so you aren't my daughter.
Well, if you know what I meant.
I know.
But
Anyway.
if you did that to me, you'd still get probably slapped.
So, at some point, Nicolas Cage's character of Castor Troy sets a bomb somewhere secretly while disguised as a priest, because there was like a church group that was singing there, and he walks up to this hot chick who's like a girl singing, and then he grabs her butt as a priest while she's singing and makes a horrifying face, which is what you saw earlier. It's a very famous Nicolas Cage face. This is the era where Nicolas Cage movies went from being, oh wow, that should be a really good movie, to this could be terrible. And this movie is both. Because Castor Troy, throughout the events afterwards, during the chase with Sean Archer, is knocked unconscious into a coma, actually. Which would be fine, because they capture him and his brother, who's also a terrorist, but they don't know where the bomb is. And they can't, the only person who knows are Castor Troy and his brother. Castor isn't waking up, so they have to talk to the brother. So what do? What would you do in this situation? As a logical human being in 2020.
I would interrogate him to try to find where the bomb is and then use aggressive, action if called for.
An interesting choice, one that makes more sense. No, without telling his wife, he just says, "I'm going on a mission," and John Travolta goes through a surgery that removes Nicolas Cage's face, removes his face, and swaps their faces so he can pretend to be Nicolas Cage and go undercover in prison.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, 100 face off. Because they're facing off with a different face.
So they surgically take the skin off his face.
Yep, they change his hair, his hairline. They do some surgery to make his their bodies. They don't have the same body shape, but they try to sell you that it's possible.
They have a similar face shape.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, which would have been amazing, seeing them impersonate one another's accents. But we'll never see that. Why won't we see that? I would still watch that, even if they are old. Anyway. But yeah, so he goes undercover, but this is what happens. Castor Troy wakes up without a face.
I'm never watching this movie.
And he kills people because he's mad about it. And he holds the surgeon at gunpoint. It's like, put his face on my face. So now, John Travolta is the bad guy and Nick Cage is the good guy. Okay?
I already hate this movie.
But it's John Travolta still the good guy, but he has Nicolas Cage's face.
You're not going to get on the desk
Nicolas
and
Cage,
say you're a sexy cat, are you?
It's getting Abed levels of crazy. This is arguably peak Cage. This and Gone in 60 Seconds are like his trashy but good movies.
I really want to break my eardrums right now because I'm kind of traumatized by this. You need to stop.
So here's what happens. He goes to prison.
Know.
John Travolta is Nicolas Cage in prison, trying to impersonate his brother. And there's actually this really good scene of acting where he has to act like he's a crazy person that's beating people up. And then for a second he turns away and he's crying. He's like, I don't want to be a bad boy. But then he goes back and he's like, Nicolas Cage, crazy face. And the brother's like, yeah, crazy brother. And then John Travolta comes to visit and he's like, what's going on? My partner knows I'm undercover. My boss knows I'm undercover. He's like, oh no, they were all killed. It's tragic. And so no one else knows that bad guy is actually good guy and good guy is actually bad guy. So bad guy pretending to be good guy goes to that guy's house and porks his wife. Yeah. Which, by the way, I want to point out.
They didn't swap
penises.
Genitals, so...
No. She should have known. Or they have identical penises by chance.
Or his was bigger and she was like, wow, this is better than I remember.
Or he's just a very gentle lover.
I'm gonna say it was bigger.
Look at Nicolas Cage's face. Tell me that man doesn't. Also, he says a lot of weird stuff about a peach, like he wants to eat a girl's butt like a peach. Perfect timing with
Yes, run away.
So,
Honey, you're just kind of traumatizing me at this point. I'm literally getting nauseous.
so in a twist of fate, he breaks out with his brother. He goes out. Thomas Jane is actually in that scene as a nerdy looking guy, which he isn't ever. A lot of famous actors show up in this back and forth. He goes and he's like, I need to lay low. So now he's running with the terrorists gang, still trying to solve the case of where the bomb is. He goes, and while he's going there, he meets the sort of coked out girlfriend of the terrorist and the terrorist's son, who's a good boy. He's just his dad. He's a bad person. His mom is. I mean, she could have been a good person maybe at some point, but life circumstances have not been kind to her, and it is what it is.
The universe aligned against
and
her.
so he starts actually trying to help her, get her life together, and he takes pity on her. He doesn't see her as an enemy that can be manipulated. He sees her as someone that matters and is a human being, and he's sort of starting to understand, oh wow, this bad guy did things to people, and I feel bad about that. So he goes in and he tries to take care of her. And then there's a scene, which I think there's a photo of right here, where they're back to back against a double pane of mirrors. So they're both pointing their guns at each other, but also seeing the reflection of the person whose face they have, who is the bad guy on the other side. Symbolism. Ooh.
Yes, I know. I have a bachelor's
I
degree
know,
in literature.
I'm smart. This is a John Woo film. You have to appreciate these things.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Anyway.
It's just America. I can appreciate what I want.
It's funny you say this is America, because that's Childish Gambino, who was also in... It doesn't matter. It's just a little op-ed connection. Doesn't matter. Nicolas Cage. So, basically, throughout the fight, he starts realizing, oh, wow, I really screwed this guy's family up, and he sort of enjoys it, but he also kind of sees the humanity in it, but then he toys with it a lot, and he's, creepily, sexualizing the daughter of the guy whose face he's wearing, and she's like, Dad, stop, and you're like, yeah, seriously, stop. And then, meanwhile...
You like weird movies, by the way.
It's called art, okay? I saw this when I was a child.
That explains a lot.
And faceless Nicolas Cage has been with me ever since.
This explains a lot.
It looks like he's wearing marinara sauce. They didn't even try to... They just put him in the darkness and just covered his face with goop.
This explains your life from 18 on. I get it now.
Yeah, I saw Face Off and thought, I can't take my face off yet. Let's join the army. You caught me. I thought maybe someday Wait, which one are you saying I am? Am I the bad guy who has sex with another guy's wife, or am I the good guy who has his wife taken by my enemy? I don't like either one of those options. I mean, one is clearly preferable, but anyway, rolling forward. Long story short, they battle, they tussle, they fight, they go in and out through all this, and why are you on Instagram?
I'm trying to cleanse my
your soul
ears and my soul that's starting to turn black. Oh, just kidding, it's already dark.
Anyway, so they fight, and then they get into a sick gunfight. There are doves flying everywhere. They get into a high-speed chase. Long story short, good guys win. He gets his face back, and he adopts Castor Troy's terrorist son, who's just like a little baby boy with a bowl cut. And he brings him in, and the family's like, oh, we didn't realize how good we had things, Dad. You've been through so much trauma. Your obsession with that bad guy is validated, because he was, clearly a bad person. And having had a bad dad who caught me smoking was like, hey, no, smoking is cool. And I didn't realize that wasn't you. Clearly, I'm kind of a bad daughter, so I appreciate you more. He's like, yes.
How does the wife feel about being porked by another man?
I don't remember the exact specifics of that. I just remember being like, ugh.
But I mean, at the end, does she realize, crap, I've just
Oh, I mean, she knows.
Done the deed now with another man. Does that count as cheating if you don't know?
I mean, she should have figured it out when he had different maneuvers. Unless they, by coincidence, have the exact same, maneuvers and moves. So, the whole family meets. They're all in, the center area. They come in through the door. The light's shining in, all magical. All the families there laughing together. And he's like, oh, my family. Ah, and he starts putting his hand over everyone's faces. Like a weird, oh, son, you're not my son, but you're my son. And you're like, this is weird. Because, again, the whole movie, you've watched John Travolta's face be a bad guy, except for the very beginning and now at the end. So it's a very bizarre experience. And Nicolas Cage, who... they did a really good job of getting people who were known for playing a bad guy play a good guy play a bad guy, but then the bad guy was also the good guy was also the bad guy.
Yeah, I get it.
It's his American cinema. Maybe show some respect.
This
is the type of stuff that Abed watched before he went into full Nick Cage meltdown.
Yes, I know. That explains a lot. Continue.
being passive aggressive is not a sexy look. Now I wish you were someone else wearing my wife's face, because my wife should appreciate this. I've seen you watch Grey's Anatomy. This is better writing than that.
No,
How many
it's
people's
not.
penises were chopped off in that series?
3.
See, that's
And
not
that's
the
in
most.
15 seasons, though.
That's such. What a specific horrible plot point to recycle.
How many times have they redone a movie? Spider-Man,
This is okay.
Batman.
The point I'm trying to make is this is one of the few movies
uh-huh.
that should be remade.
No, it's not.
Yes,
This
but
is a movie that should
with
rest
like
in
Ryan
peace
Reynolds and
20
Jake
feet
Gyllenhaal,
underground.
like get people who already play off of each other pretty funnily, and then just take it to the next level and accept how insane it is. And you don't reboot it. You just make it a sequel where like, well, we did this thing in the 90s and it worked.
Kind of like Tron,
Yeah, but
but better.
first of all, there's nothing better than Tron Legacy. So you watch your mouth, young lady.
No, I mean like better like when it comes to the transition. Most people didn't see the original Tron movie, so all the references they made, they just don't get.
Okay, that's a fair point.
That's what I mean.
That's why.
I didn't see the original Tron until I saw Tron Legacies.
And then you were like, wow, the effects in this were amazing.
I know. I was like, what the heck am I watching? When I watched the first one, I was like,
It was the first time that people considered
film
having
on a budget.
It was literally the first time people considered having a special effects division of like awards for films, because they thought that using digital effects was cheating, and then people were like, well, clearly not. It took a lot of skill to pull this off, and thus we have all of these awards now for this.
I mean, George Lucas made models of everything and blew up little firecrackers all the time.
He founded Industrial Light and Magic, which is still one of the best. Them
We're
and
getting off topic.
Weta.
Let's go.
Well, I was going to say Weta made all of the special effects for Lord of the Rings and stuff. They make a ton of stuff now, but that's the touchstone I know. You'll know.
Don't get me started on some of the effects and some of the newer like versions when they went forward. Especially in Narnia. I was very disappointed in the third one.
So, what I'm saying is, Rachel, if you were the Hollywood executive, and you were the one saying, I have billions
My
of
name is
dollars.
Kelly Lollins.
Kelly Lollins, you have tons of money. You're not secretly Nicolas Cage with a woman's face.
I hate
Right? So, someone comes to you like, we want to do another face-off movie. Who do you pick for the people who switch faces? Or do you gender swap it and make it like a female terrorist and a female FBI agent? Usually gender swapping doesn't work. Or is one a man and one's a female? We talk about gender reality. No, let's keep it simple for the first time. Who do you pick?
I wouldn't pick anyone because I wouldn't want to redo the movie.
No, that's the beauty about being a studio executive. You don't have to watch the movie. You just have to say people would watch this, so I'll give you the money.
People wouldn't watch it though. It's terrible.
Honey, people are still watching Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah,
we've
'cause
had
those
like
are actually good.
We've had like 5 bad Terminator movies in a row, and I still want another Terminator movie. It's a sickness.
I know. I'll pray for you later. But I
You pray
wouldn't.
to how bad?
I wouldn't. I can't pick because I don't.
Because it's
like,
too perfect of a movie.
No, because it's a horrible movie.
it's too
stupid.
perfect of a movie.
Because in my opinion, it's stupid.
Have you
and
ever
I
seen
wouldn't do
the
it.
Mission Impossible movies?
Some of them, yes.
Did you see Mission Impossible 2?
Which one is that?
The one where he rock climbs in the opening.
No, I may not have seen that one.
Okay, that's also a John Woo film, and he has phenomenal
I've seen
hair.
Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. I think those are the only two I've ever seen.
Really? Oh boy, I know what we're doing next.
No, we're not.
We're gonna watch the entirety of the TV show The OC,
All right, this is me leaving.
because Chris got me hooked on that in the barracks.
Back to the original question. I don't know who I'd choose. I would probably just gender swap it. Just because if I had to, someone pointed a gun to my head and said, you will freaking make this movie, I would say, fine, we're going to gender swap it to women because right now is the age of revolution of feminism, and this would appeal to more women, and therefore a larger crowd would go.
Yeah, but those movies that gender swap usually fail pretty poorly, like financially.
No, not necessarily.
The version that was, I lost it. Michael Caine. I can only think of his name when I do his voice. Michael Caine. Alfred from the Batman Nolan movies. Him and Steve Martin, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, were the 2 scam artists. Got remade with females, not good. Ghostbusters, also not great. Ocean's 11 got Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock, who is not a good actress. Also didn't
But
do
here's
well.
the thing, you have to choose the right actress.
Well, yeah.
For instance, the Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman movies, like,
those aren't.
she is more popular.
That's not a gender swap reboot or something. That's just a story that's the
I know,
thing.
but because it is a focus on females statistically, where the female is the main character. Let me finish before you interrupt me and try to give you some bullshit. Okay, I'm done. You're not letting me ever finish. Statistically, like, movies with women as the main character do poorly compared to males. It's just how it is. I don't know why, but everyone's like, just doesn't want to see it. So the fact that in the last few years, movies with females as the main character have actually been doing a lot better. I feel like if you can get the right female characters, you can pull it off. Because a lot of times, if you notice, in a lot of, like, the Mission Impossibles, even in the Fast and Furious franchise, even having a very strong female character then gives a new audience. A lot of men talked about how much they loved the Wonder Woman. She's so badass. Everyone loves her. If you can get two freaking awesome badass females, like, I don't know what her name is, but the girl who plays Letty in the Fast
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes. She would be awesome for this type of movie. She has the face for it, she has the build for it, she has the stamina for it, and she has the reputation for it. So if she got on screen and was one of them, everyone would be like, oh my god, that's Letty from Fast and Furious. This is awesome seeing her as the bad guy. And she's played the bad guy and the good guy, so she's capable, we know it, of doing both. She can handle a gun, she can drive a car. Great action sequence. All you need to do is find another person, like maybe Gal Gadot, put them together, you got your two.
What I was going to say before you got mad at me was that you're right. When people make a movie and they write it the normal way, where they go through the ideas, the script phase, they come up with it, they do it like a normal movie, it is generally better, which is when the movies are good. But when it's the same thing when people try to adapt a video game or a book and they just think, okay, well, I'll just make that again, and they don't think about what's the character arc, what's the motivation, what's the message, what is the act made up of, what's the basic plots of, like, filmmaking and storytelling in general, what's the hero's journey in this. That's when the movies suck. So when someone sees a movie that was good in, like, the 80s or 90s and says, let's do that again but with vaginas, that doesn't always equal a good movie, because they didn't think about it like they thought. It's like looking at a cake and saying, I want that cake in a different flavor, but you don't think about putting the ingredients in. You just kind of try to reverse engineer it and you screw it up.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say, because obviously Wonder Woman is one of the highest grossing DC films in recent history. There's tons of awesome stuff that has come out. Alita Battle Angel is one of the movies that we both love. Like, that is a genuinely awesome movie, which also does have Michelle Rodriguez as the drill sergeant for Alita in her flashbacks. That's anime Michelle Rodriguez.
But I mean, I think if you could find two strong female characters like that, that would be great. Something I would change, though, is the weird face petting.
Yeah, no, we don't need that.
Instead of stroking down the face for a woman to make it more normal looking, a lot of women will put their hand on the side of someone's face that they genuinely care about and just ever so slightly, like, pull down just a little bit. That's just and kind of like cup the cheek. Like, that is more of like an affectionate, that's like a normal affectionate male and even male too gesture, and I think that would make a little more sense to see that. And I mean, I probably wouldn't even have kids in the mix, I would just have it be a partner.
Here's my pitch.
That would be funny.
Someone involved, whether it's one of the two face swappies or like the chief of their section, is the daughter or son of John Travolta's character in that movie. That way it ties together, you know? Plus, Archer is a great name, so why throw it away? It's a good character name.
Yeah, that is a good character name. Yeah.
It is really fun.
But I mean, if we could get some awesome fight scenes out of Michelle Rodriguez, like,
I think you get the Fast and Furious people on it, like you said, like the same producers and stunt people as well, because those movies have really good action and really good casting and set design.
Who was it? Even the scene where she fights off
Gina Carano in the
tower, in the car, where they're trying to steal the car.
Oh, she fights Ronda Rousey in that one.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Former
that
UFC
is a really, really
champion.
great scene. Also, in the one before that, when they're running through the subway and she's
Yeah, that
fighting
one was
off.
Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina
From The
Carano
Mandalorian
also.
as well.
Mm-hmm. But
She was also a UFC fighter.
Get one of them to be something in it, you know?
I would genuinely watch Gina Carano versus Michelle Rodriguez in Face Off 2. And this time it's face / off, the two's in the middle. Because, like, face / off, face / off.
Okay, now you're just getting weird. Anyway, but that's my opinion, is if you can get a couple of strong female characters where you've seen them pretty much be badasses and do a lot of fight scenes already. Because I think that's everyone's biggest mistake, is they'll choose someone when they try to reverse the roles. They choose someone who doesn't normally do those movies. So if you're seeing a Hallmark girl show up and try to be a superhero, it's kind of awkward, because all you see her is the flower shop owner that falls in love with the guy who runs the candy store down the street. Like, you don't see them in that light. To see someone like Michelle Rodriguez or even pretty much any of the other female characters from that would be great.
I just had it. So I looked to see if there was a tagline for the original Face Off to build off of. There wasn't. It's a dark time in human history.
Mm-hmm.
This one, Face Off 2, and then the tagline of the poster is Face Your Demons. At some point, one of them can drive a Dodge Demon, and the subtlety will really be in your face.
All right, now we've shifted to cars, and I think it's time to end this.
Shifted to cars. Is that a car pun? Killy. Okay, well,
I'm gonna run you over with a car after this.
Joke's on you, then I don't have to pay taxes anymore. It's a win-win. So, this has been another episode of the Poppycock Podcast. Yet another in the series of me explaining incredible films to someone who will never appreciate them. What was the last ones we did? We did Terminator, and I feel like I explained another movie to you before in the past, in the last season, and you really didn't like it at all.
Terminator.
It wasn't Back to the Future, was it? Because
I've seen all the Back to Futures.
I'll have to go back and look.
I don't know. It was Terminator. Might have been Planet of the Apes or something like that.
Have you ever seen the new Planet of the Apes movies?
I saw some of it and fell asleep because I was bored.
First of all, the first one has James Franco, so I know you'll watch that one.
Yeah, I probably.
That's the whole reason you fell in love with me, is because I was a dollar store knockoff version of James Franco. And you're like, I can't have the real thing.
I mean, you definitely act a little bit like him. So.
Because I, too, saw my father killed with the blade from his own glider, and thus became the new Goblin.
I feel like you'd be happy, though, if that happened.
I wouldn't be happy if my dad died. Ask me 7 years ago, maybe. Now? No, we're okay. I wouldn't get so many chain text messages anymore. But I just mute those.
We wouldn't get so many chain texts.
He'll just message one of my brothers, be like, so, what do you guys want for dinner? It's like, I haven't lived with you for years, so I don't care.
You're like, I moved out almost 2 years ago.
I moved out a long time ago. I just stuck with them for college for a while.
Yeah, you pretty much just you stayed home for like, what, a year and a half, then you were in the dorms, and then you moved in with me.
Yep, because you couldn't stay away from this booty.
More like because I lived in a sketchy apartment.
Yeah, that was actually more it. You're like, I keep hearing drug deals. Help! It's country music and drugs. Oh, Roxy.
Aww.
Sorry, our regular co-host Roxy's been in her kennel farting and eating treats this whole time. I wonder if she'll notice, because normally she sniffs the microphone before or after one of these, but Miko, last time we recorded an episode, came up and like tried to eat it. I wonder if she'll smell another puppy on that. Judging by her
Roxy, would you like to say a few words?
She's currently putting her face against the kennel and has a very Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face thing going on with her lips right now. That is hard to look at.
That's funny, though.
So, this has been the unofficial pitch for Hollywood to remake, or to make a sequel to Face Off.
They better pay us if they do it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we came up with the idea, so I think this going out, if they ever do now, we can just sue them and be like, we came up with the idea on the August 24th?
26th.
26th! Look, all time is fluid during lockdown, and so is weight, so it doesn't matter if I gain an inch.
I've actually lost 5 pounds.
Oh, well, good for you. Not all of it. I found it. So, thanks. You fell asleep and it joined my body. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go rewatch Face Off. It's amazing. It's spectacular. And no matter what a sassy girl in sweatpants says to you, it is not a bad movie. Although, for someone who didn't like the movie, you came up with a pretty great setup for the sequel.
I was a writing major. Most wasted 4 years of my life.
Okay, well, there you go, everyone. I don't know how to... What do you want to say any final words?
Listen to his podcasts. They're awesome.
Oh, wow, I didn't expect an endorsement. I thought you were like, just keep listening so he'll leave me alone.
No,
it's the only time I'm away.
These podcasts are really awesome, really creative. In the future, there may be another story coming. Is this where you put your stories to?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we did a Cold Night in Gotham a while back that she was really busy, but she still chimed in and helped me with dialogue and stuff like that, but a lot of it came from me, and this time I had an idea that she was like, this one's mine.
It was my idea.
I mentioned it, and then you were like,
I know, I was
we
like,
should make that a story, though.
Whatever. Anyway, there's another story coming. I will be writing it, and he will be assisting.
Oh, so do I get like a co-producer credit?
Anyway, he will be assisting, so be on the lookout for it. I don't know when it'll be out. Hopefully my goal is by Halloween. Something for you
that would be
guys to like listen to. And stay tuned.
Look at that. I just lost my job to someone better looking. See? All this equal opportunity. I hire my wife, and now I'm out of the job.
You didn't hire me.
I asked you to come sit next to me and
go
talk.
Get your iced coffee from the freezer.
Okay, well, there you go. Face Off. Classical treasure or trash fire? You know the answer. It's art!
I'm almost out. I'll be back. You've been back enough. I'll be back. Yippee-ki-yay.